we've gotten. Just respect for today. Get that expertise, because most of us right here in Atlanta anyway. So for those of you that have come and got up early, we appreciate it. From those of you who traveled from out of town, welcome to Atlanta. We're delighted to have you here. And then please, we've got our hashtag, so Twitter, let's get some social media going so that people can really see what the buzz is around Mobility Live. This is a foundational event. We're just getting started. We can really see this thing growing and really exploding here in Atlanta, and really getting a lot bigger in the future years. I could see it quadrupling as easily in the next year. Another thing that we're going to move on with the program, and it's my pleasure to the first speaker of the morning, a man who knows Atlanta well, who brought a company here a while back. It started it called Manhattan Associates. Scaled it, took a little break, and then came back. I'd say with a vengeance, and is standing up a great company called AirWatch, who's really dominating the field in mobile security and bring your own device. Company that was a mere 800 employees last year and doubling this year, and plans to double again this year. He's a great friend. Introduce Alan Dabbiere.
Alan Dabbiere, Chairman at AirWatch.
Turn off your mic. Go. Great, thank you all very much. Thank you for getting up early, getting out here to Mobility Live. It's a pleasure to be here with you. That little video didn't do this job. Mobility is really changing the world. It is changing the way we live. If you really don't believe this, look at a 4-year-old. I've got one. Cannot pry this out of his hands. There will be a big screen TV, and he will sit there and watch on an iPod Touch his entertainment. And I think he's texting his tester. But these things are changing everything. You go back just a few years. We were tied to a desk. These things are changing the way we work, the way we live, the way we find our friends, the way we get into our house. It's becoming our wallet, our car key, our house key. It's your credit card is changing so many ways we do so many things. And the ubiquity is what's really driving it. 1 billion devices in the world, probably half of them touch an enterprise. It's not just that companies are giving you email on your devices. They are changing the way you do your jobs. Even better than that, they are changing the ways you do your jobs. We are changing the way we learn, the way we find our friends. We communicate with people. In this ever connected and broadening world. Boundaries have come down. It's not about your neighbors or your neighborhoods. It's becoming about your networks and the ways you communicate. It's not about geographies. It's about interests. It's about information. It's about sharing. It's about now we can video conference. The borders are breaking down, and mobile and connectivity is driving this. It is an amazing time to be alive. These devices are like Swiss Army knives. Sure, they started with email, but now it is what the mind can conceive. I'm actually renovating home. I won't have a key to it. When I walk up, the door will unlock with my phone. What's the worry about that? Will I lose my phone and somebody's got a key to my... No, because if they don't have my watch, it doesn't work. So with Samsung, you talk about routing, and people haven't thought about all of the different use cases. It's not just about it can take a picture, I talk to it. It's not Dick Tracy, but it becomes a multi-factor authentication. Because as we get into a billion devices, as we get into changing the use case of these devices to be in your wallet, and your car key, and your house key, and your room key, and your credit cards. We need to know it's you, and of course, with fingerprint, and of course that gets hacked in a day. Well, let's think about it. Steal your passcode. What do you do the next day? You change your passcode. When I steal, you got me for life. So the security of these things is becoming ever more important. And this gets back to intended consequences. These things are so powerful, and this connected world becomes so dangerous. And that's part of what we're here to talk about over the next few days. Where is mobile going? What are the things we need to be thinking about? I always love the scene in The Firm when Wilford Brimsley, the head security officer, says, I'm the guy in the room that's supposed to be nervous when nobody else in the room is nervous. There is a little bit of that here. What's happening with my child when I give them this device? Maybe I don't have as much control on the browser as I used to with my desktop. What happens with my company when I hand this device? Story. One of our current customers, but prior to working with us, right after Siri came out with iOS 5, somebody picked up a phone off a desk. This was an investment banker. Hit the Siri button and wrote an email using voice activation to trade 10,000 shares of stock in a customer account using Siri and voice. That's a problem if you're a regulated business. The law of unintended consequences. And as you realize there's a new mobile operating system every 15 days. This is a lot to stay on top of. Mobility Live is about a wonderful event where mobility leadership of Atlanta and the Southeast and to some extent together is the next generation here. Background is that I moved to Atlanta back in 1986. Founded a great city. Moved back again in 95. With me a company called Manhattan Associates, and grew that company from 30 to 800 people in 3 years. Let me tell you, I could not have done that in the world. Such a great place to grow business, but I'm going to argue I'm even more successful at AirWatch because it is even a better place to grow a mobile business. Interestingly, Manhattan Associates was a mobile business. It started out with the rolling out of those brick products, those ruggedized devices. If you think of the warehouse, I was rolling that technology out in 1990. So I've got 20 years of recognizing that mobile is death by 1,000 cuts. Every device configured and secured and supported. The end user needs to be supported. BlackBerry proved that everybody better get their email every day, or they get really grumpy. And I will tell you, I am still blessed to be the IT manager of my own house. And when my wife doesn't get email, I have a really crappy night at home. I cannot give up that job somehow. 20 years of dealing with this, and this is what led me into AirWatch. And AirWatch today is the global leader with 1,500 employees and supporting these devices for the enterprise. And it was only that background that I can be in this position today. Only because Atlanta was such a great city for me to grow a first company, to build a great place for people to work, and for me to grow at work. That I was put in the position of coming back into this city with a couple of people back in 2006, a company of 100 people 3 years ago, and a company of 1,500 people today. Atlanta is the business, but Atlanta is the city for mobile business. It's swagger back. Back in the late 90s, when Manhattan Associates was riding high, internet security systems, the internet was coming in. Atlanta was doing great in technology, and we had a little bit of a lull in the early 2000s. But that's changing, my friends. That is changing. This city has got more startups, more things going on. This is becoming the hub of. We have got the greatest educational systems in the world with Georgia Tech and Georgia State, UGA, Kennesaw State, Emory. We have got all the ingredients of these great businesses. We have this great ecosystem here in Atlanta. We have AT&T Mobility, First Data, Elevon, Pardo, CNN, Weather Channel, Cox, Delta, Coca-Cola, Home Depot, Manhattan Associates, and of course AirWatch. We have got all these ingredients here, and yet we still need to attract. We need to put these ingredients. We need to find ways to make Atlanta even more of a mobile city than it is today. And that's what this is all about. The most important asset we have is sitting in these seats today. It's you. We need you to come away from this and tell the story of Atlanta. Tell the story of mobile. To think about how do we build new businesses here. How do we educate our people in this area? How do we take this tectonic shift in computing from internet to mobile, from desktop to carry with you? And how do we build these things here in this city? Just one last story. You think about how mobile is changing the world. We're working with a lot of school systems today. And Larry Ellison was said to have gotten up in front of the Stanford graduating class, and he said, "Look, I'm a maverick. I'm not going to talk to you students. I'm going to talk to you the professors. I've got good news and I've got bad news for you. The good news is you guys are going to be wildly famous, like rock stars. You're going to be paid like the greatest sports stars. I've got the bad news though. There's going to be one of you in every subject. We are going to learn to take the skill set of the greatest communicator of every subject and mass produce that to educate every person. And we look at what's going on in school districts around the world, not just in the United States, not just in Atlanta, but around the world. And they're saying we don't have enough great teachers. And if we can take these technologies, you think about the textbook, it's dead. I open up a textbook, a child opens up a textbook and reads it. Child opens up a textbook and reads it. And if they don't understand it, they hope someone can explain it to them, or maybe they look at the picture. But you take this technology, and if I don't understand the material, I click on the picture, and I get a multimedia learning experience from the greatest communicator of that world in my language. And it is honed to my learning style. This is the way we're going to learn in the future. It doesn't mean the schools are dead, but it means when you think of anything like a sport, you take the greatest sport, you take football or basketball, and you take 10 people on a team, and you look at that greatest player, and the 10th best, and the 100th best, and the 1,000th best, and the 1,000th best is huge. And the fact that the schools can start taking this technology and rolling this out and leveraging this technology to educate our students is going to be huge for our future. We're working with Intel on a project with 1 million devices in Lebanon and up to 10 million in Turkey. This is the same technology that AirWatch is using to educate our employees. We could never have gone from 100 to 1,500 without leveraging mobile and technology and video and the way we're training people. I wanted to leave you with just that one because every industry is being changed like this, where it will be a whole new industry in 5 to 10 years. The way we educate, the way we do medicine, the way we deliver information, the way we deliver product, the way we service people in retail, the way we service people in restaurants. And Mobility Live is about pulling everybody and all of our assets in Atlanta together, and to start thinking about this brave new world and this new future. So what we've got here is technology executives and innovators here at this conference. We've got leaders talking. I wanted to leave you with one quote. Maya Angelou had a great expression. I've learned that you should not go through a life with a catcher's mitt on both hands. You need to be able to throw something back. We are all the leaders of Atlanta, and leaders in the technology community. Think not only about what you're doing in your companies, think what you're doing to mentor young people and students and helping young businesses grow. Go out and tell people about Atlanta and what a great mobility city. Thank you very much. Have a
Great, great. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan. Now, I would like to introduce PrimeRevenue, Chief Technology Officer, Mobility at Cisco.
Pleasure to introduce Paul Mankiewich, Chief Technology Officer, Mobility at Cisco. Paul does lead strategy for Cisco. I think they know a little bit about mobility and how. Thanks for all your help, and I think you've got your introduction, so I'll just turn it over to you, Paul.
Yes, and you never argue with Siri.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So, thank you. That was great. I'm going to take us in a slightly different direction. I'm a technologist. I've been a CTO for as long as I can remember. Not sure that's a good thing. And what I'm going to do is sort of take you on a bit of a trip on what's going on in mobile networking. Now we all see millions of devices, data explosion, all those marketing slides and et cetera, and we experience it every day, as was just said. But what's happening underneath the covers? What is happening to the network to support all of that tremendous advance in technology and applications and et cetera? And we're reveling the way we run mobile networks. Within 3 to 4 years, the way mobile networks are deployed, managed, run, optimized, will be completely different. Let's see if I can make this thing work. So the data is exploding. Data is exploding from the devices, from the applications, from machine to machine. We'll talk a little bit about the internet of everything. We have a plethora of devices, hundreds of millions of devices will be entering the mobile network, much greater than we have today. And we have to build a network enough to handle that tremendous influx of devices and data throughput. One of the things that I've been in this business a long time, and we built data networks actually quite a long time ago off of the voice, and it was one of these things. If those have seen the movie The Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come, and nobody showed up. We actually built a lot of networks around EVDO and GSM Edge, and all these technologies had incredible throughput for their time, but since there were no apps and no one using data, the throughput was thought to be infinite because the networks were pretty empty. We had a huge business around enterprise. Enterprise users were sort of the first ones to pick it up. People doing real pharmaceuticals, technicians in the field. But what really kicked off was Apple on the iPhone. That's my opinion. People will disagree. Not big screens, but actually, I could touch a button and I could get where I wanted. Remember those old devices? You would hit it 10 times to get to the screen you wanted, and after before you hit that screen, you had a traffic accident. So So making that ease of and making that user experience better really made the network take off. And that is one of the key themes I want you to take away with as I get into this discussion. It's the user experience. We've got to continue to improve the user experience in an environment where we're just flooding the network with devices. Also, devices are becoming. I mean, there's too many to count the different types. Besides the obvious machine-to-machine devices, and Internet of Everything devices. How many different types of endpoint devices do we have today? Everything is being connected wirelessly to this network. Anything you can possibly think of. I like to say that, said this is the beta in the intro. This is the biggest thing that's happened since the internet. If it wasn't for us, there wouldn't be an internet. Driving the internet, mobility, the untethered internet. And of course, about to happen, as I said, hundreds of devices, this network within the next 10 years. Everything you can think of. I remember about 10 years ago, the CTO of HP telling me, the one thing I totally hooked up my house, and this was 10 years ago. And the one thing I can tell you that does not need an IP address is a toaster. And he may be wrong because we'll probably give it an IP address. I mean everything you touch will be connected. There'll be sensors all around you to improve your life, we hope, or irritate you in some cases. But we will have hundreds of millions of devices joining this network, all the way from environmental devices to farming, etc. We'll revolutionize so many industries with the ability to automate and bring these devices on the mobile network. Now remember I said that thing about optimizing user experience. Well, if you're a user, all of these things I have to look at if I'm going to make your experience better. What type of device do you have? What type of technology you on? Are you on cellular? Are you on cells? Are you on wireline? Although everyone that's on wireline tends to be on Wi-Fi, but on wireline, right? What session? What are you doing at any given time? What website are you doing? Email? Are you looking at managing OS? How do I make sure that if you're asked for a certain service, that it actually gets to you? One of the things, engineers, we have engineers in the old days, the packet core, the core engineer, we have the radio engineers. And the core engineers didn't realize that if they told the radio to go do something, do what it was told. So the thing it sent out there never got there. So being able to manage end-to-end that network from all the way through the core, the application servers, and to the end user and deliverer of the content. Location awareness. Where are you? What is your presence? And mobility control. Right? How do I control? How do I optimize your ability to roam, to move between different technologies as you're moving through your daily life. What I'm going to do, I'm not going to talk about this and the plethora of them. I'm going to talk about, since I don't have a lot of time, two underlying technologies that are basically the revolution to manage and run these networks. I'm not going to talk about small cells or Wi-Fi because they're all buried in here. Because a small cell or a Wi-Fi node unto itself is a cute piece of technology for. But unless I include it in the rest of the network and optimize your experience, so when you're on Wi-Fi and the Wi-Fi is done and you're moving and you need to move to the next place, how do I move you? How do I connect you up so that there's a seamless experience that you're having? So the second one is what we call virtualization and orchestration. How do I simplify this mobile network? Companies like Cisco, Ericsson, Alcatel-Lucent, Nokia, Siemens, Juniper. You could go on and on. Build equipment that networks. I'll show you a simplified architecture slide. I think you'll be horrified by the simple part. And so the issue is how do I simplify this? How do I make it so it's not of hundreds of different nodes? How do I make it much more seamlessly, constantly nodes that they sort of automatically scale and are elastic as the service and the capacity on the networks change. Sorry about that. Where is that? So if I look at today, if I can make it work, oops, see my first mistake, went the wrong way. If I look today, I do a lot of local optimizations. I try and figure out, are you in a good RF, good connectivity? But sure, I'm going to actually put feedback loops into the network, and I'm going to look across the network end to end, from your device through the core application servers and the subscriber management systems, and I'm going to collect and analyze data, decide what to do it, and enforce decisions in the network. So the network optimizes itself to provide you with a better quality of experience. I'm going to make rather than policy-based decisions. Are you a gold, silver, platinum person? Did you pay your bill? Did you not pay your bill? Have you run out of data? I'm going to make decisions based on an orchestration of these functions throughout the network. That thing about whether you have used up your data may only be one component of a very complex decision that gets made about how to improve your quality of experience. And SON is basically stands for self-optimizing networks. I'm going to take these networks and I'm going to run them free. I'm not going to have people in the way. They're going to sit back and watch the network do its thing. The network will actually optimize itself, look out, pull data, rearrange itself, and then basically go out, enforce that information to perform better drive. Once I've done that, I can look at clever other other things I can do. Now that I've got an optimized network, a network that basically provides you with the best quality of experience, how do I monetize that? How do I say to an app provider, hey, I can guarantee you that I can get your information through perfectly, certain time, etc., without packet loss. Pay me for it. I'd like a penny. Okay. Can I do things like that? Can I do things like have an exchange where performance is traded off for financial involved, right? Because these networks, they're not free. They're hundreds of billions of dollars goes into building this. I remember a time at Boston University. I was asked. I got my degree there, and I said, you guys just built a huge accelerator for $3 billion, and that's like the down payment on a mobile network. So, thank you. So we've got to be able to make sure that these networks and what goes through them come to a position of basically economic viability. The next topic, virtualization, orchestration. Today we have dedicated hardware functions. And I'll show you in a minute how these fit together. Dedicated hardware functions. What we're going to do is software, make the hardware blade, for those that know what data centers are, blade servers, basically x86 processors by the zillions on blade. That will be the backbone of the hardware for the entire mobile network. Sure, we'll still have high-speed routing that will be required because there'll be functions in the network that are going at such a high speed and packet forwarding. We'll still have routers to do that, but that will be incorporated into the infrastructure. But basically, all of the mobility functionality I'll show you will be based sitting on x86 processing. And we'll also do things like today we hardwire how we configure things. As I said earlier, one of the things we want to do is make this automated, end-to-end, not just automated in the optimization of the user experience, but automated in the configuration of the network. The one thing that we can't do in networks today, if I have a box and it has 3 or 4 functions in it, and one function hits capacity, it's good for Cisco because I sell poor AT&T or Verizon and another hunk of hardware. But the problem is it's not elastic. It doesn't grow, and as each of those functions change, happening, the one thing is really daunting in running a mobile network now is every time user behavior changes, literally over days' time, you need to configure the changes. What we call is it a model, how you do what you do on a daily basis in the mobile network. So we're constantly modifying the network to try and keep up here, and the network's changing behavior. And as a result, hard provisioning is very difficult to work with. This network to be completely elastic. If it needs more of a one functionality, it just grows. If it doesn't need it, it shrinks. Okay? It's resilient, much more resilient. Methodologies are much simplified. I don't buy huge hunks of hardware where in case one big huge hunk or hardware fails. So here's sort of the closed loop of the optimization. We're basically pulling information. I'll have a graphic on that in a second. We harvest the network intelligence. We do analytics at all levels. There may be analytics on the performance of a pipe in the network of some type of RF part. It might be also analytics on what you're doing at that given time. Are you looking at a video? Do we need to get your video through? Well, what is your video hitting a congestion point in the network? We then orchestrate that with policy, as I mentioned. Policy is a big part of the network. What should we do? There are policies set in the network about you, about how the network performs, that we have to take a look at and make sure we fit rates. And then we go back and program the network. And we do this in an iterative, real-time feedback loop. And with no human intervention, although we always need humans, with very little human intervention. This is your simplified mobile network of today, and I really mean simplified. This is all the high-level diagram of all the elements in a mobile network. We use this to basically scare Cisco executives. Keeps job security, all that other good stuff. So out here is all of the macro network, the enterprise networks, all the small cells, Wi-Fi, you name it. In here is the transport ways that basically terminate these sessions. Here's all the network services. I'm sure many of you that are technical out there can recognize many of the different functions that are put here to work on the sessions as they come all the way through the network. Oh, by the humans and the cows and the farms and everything sit out here. And then you have above here the optimization and service management and subscriber management functionality that goes on. And in here is where you see that loop. That loop is going around, out, going modifying it, right? And so this is basically what we want to automate. This very complex network we want to automate. And I can tell you we are doing it today. Huge steps forward have been made by many of the giant operators in the world, especially the two that were mentioned earlier. In this whole sort of automated scheme. So this is not a pipe dream. This is all going on today and moving forward. SON, as we call it, self-optimizing network, is a real technology being deployed as we speak about it. It's not as elaborate as yet as I've pointed out here, but it will be within a few years. But on top of this, so look at all this complexity. Wouldn't it be nice if down here I could put all of this in the cloud? Now there are two types of cloud. One cloud is the cloud out there that we put our pictures and our movies and our family stuff in, and we worry about security. The other type is a private cloud. a cloud which is basically a data center with a lot of blade servers, virtualized infrastructure that the operator owns. Google owns data centers, AT&T, Verizon, they all do. And in that is where normally sits, along with all those blade servers, all this dedicated hardware, all of this, and put it on these blade servers. So what does that do for us? Well, we end up with a highly standard hardware platform that very cost competitive, and also has the latest technology in it. Because a lot of these platforms, they're so expensive to build and manage and design that you don't change them very often. Here, the latest and greatest x86 processor comes in, and if you've depreciated your data center properly, you can put it in. Okay? So I have a platform that becomes sort of a utility. Here I have my software. I've basically pulled the software out and I put it in space where the entire software world is completely independent of the hardware world. And this is critical, right? Because this means not only can the software scale, but I remember getting into debates. You saw that network architecture. You can't believe how many of my people and my customers people argue about that diagram on a daily basis. I said, look, if I virtualize it, wherever you put in x86, you want the node there, I'll put it there, and we'll stop arguing. Okay? So you want a gateway for a mobile gateway in your laptop? Fine, I'll do it. Right? No longer do I have the of where I put the most efficient way to design the network. I can put the stuff wherever I want to put it, wherever I can put an x86 processor. And we're doing that today. We're moving stuff into the base station, moving stuff out of the base station. We're basically architecting the networks already quite because of this type of flexibility. And then finally, the big word used to be analytics. The big new sexy word is orchestration. How do I orchestrate all of this? How do I make this network work? How do I do contention management? One app in the network wants some services. Another app wants services. How do I decide which one gets the resources that's there? Because even a data center isn't infinitely large. But the other thing is we'll be able to spread between data center. We'll be able to say your network is Lviv, and your network is in Moscow. And only the speed of light inhibits me from doing that. So that component, that orchestration you see throughout all discussions. It orchestrates down in the software, and we have orchestration going on in the user space around the optimization. So this is my data center. Those are blade servers. I don't know which make they are. They're probably Cisco. But these are blade servers. Think of them as just a bunch of x86 boards turned on end. And let's suppose, let me get to this one. Let's suppose it's 2 o'clock in the morning and a power company wants to read power meters and wants to use the AT&T or Verizon or Sprint, et cetera network. Calls and that entire diagram I showed you, stations, spins up out of this blade center. Everything read parameters. Now, probably don't need video optimization to read, so that won't be spun up. And you see, that's a key point. I don't spin up everything. What I need. I spin up all those gateways, all that subscriber management, all of those services get spun up in that to read those parameters. This is my consumer. This is the network that I use for my consumer. This is the lifeblood of a mobile network. And the danger has always been, if I wanted a power company, I'd have to add it to the consumer part of the network. Now, in software space, not hardware space. Think of this as software diagram, not a hardware diagram. In space, this doesn't get touched by what crazy over here. So I have networks running parallel, sitting on the same data center. This is the rest of that consumer network. I'll go through this quickly. I have an enterprise. Ford Motor Company, whoever. Cisco is running services on that net, in that needs a mobile network because it's using mobility for its customers. I'll hit it easy. It's using mobility as a key component of driving the services to its customers, and its customers and its employees. It says I need a core. I need a network like I showed on that diagram. But I need more of it. Suddenly I have a surge in capacity, and I need more of it. How do I do that? How do I deal with that earlier? The network just grows. It needs, and it just automatically becomes bigger. So I have ability theoretically to infinitely scale the capacity of my network. You did notice one thing that you did notice is it became 4 o'clock in the morning and the power company disappeared. Didn't need the network anymore. I read that resources. That part of the network is gone. Our company can come back at a later date, fire its network. Alternate service provider, MVNOs, for those that know the term. Other people wanting to come on and use that infrastructure. It's always been a pain to try and figure out how to add services, how to add machine. So we do it this way. Makes it almost trivial. And I want to be careful. I want to make sure people understand how strongly we feel about this. It takes sometimes months to put it in core, provision it, set it up. We have demonstrations of setting something up and putting it in and having up and running with traffic on it in 30 seconds. So what am I doing? I'm reducing the total cost of ownership for my customers. Actually, I'm making my life a lot easier. It's a lot easier to build stuff in this domain. I have that enhanced scalability. I said I can dynamically manage all aspects of the network, and I can upgrade my hardware, almost at will, within my financial ability. I can easily deploy new applications. This is critical to the entire if I stop Internet of Things, Internet of Everything idea. Without this type of technology, we probably wouldn't be able to really make it work. Because it would be just too hard to figure out how to add hundreds of millions of devices, and it would be impacting the network that is now by bread and butter. It's your bread and butter too. How many people get crabby when the network goes down, right? So what we don't do is we don't like to touch something that's working fine. This and without much effort at all. So every time I have a farm application, I have an agriculture application, I have an enterprise that wants to run that, I can fire it up with its own network. And finally, increase service velocity. Probably the biggest problem that I see is the rapidity of which we can change the network. Today, as I said, it takes weeks, months to do. And it also helps my customers. You know, we're in an internet world. We got these big honking boxes that I have to provision very slowly, whereas their competition is in the internet world. They're rapidly being able to change what they do on a moment's notice. The Googles, the Facebooks. Now the big service providers are in the same domain as them and are in competitive space with how rapid they can change things in their networks. I want to put a little plug in. This is the AT&T Foundry that we want to put a little plug in. This is the AT&T Foundry in particular. Personally believe this is a huge thing because I bought at least 2 companies as a result of these foundries. And it's a really great space. It's over here in Atlanta, down the street, and be able to make sure that the AT&T experience you're having is as optimized as the network can possibly make it with this huge influx of capacity and devices. And we believe for this use of, and we believe that this
citizenry to the people, and even driving revenues with it. So Coca-Cola, IHG, Home Depot, and other brands. So we're delighted that you're all here.